This is chapter 20. You know where we are, right? I'm sure you know where we are.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay, good. It was Friday evening as Willie rushed home from work. All he could think about was his secret rendezvous with Sirka that evening. Finding an excuse to get out of the house was the problem. But he had to see Sirka, even if it meant lying to his wife. She did not deserve such deceit, and guilt hung over him with every step. He now knew Sirka completed his entire being. He must have her, even if it meant life itself. I never got that, but whatever that is. Irene, forgive me, but I forgot to tell you I have to go out tonight, said Willie, closing the entry door behind him. Really? Where? Well, Esco and I might join the gymnastics club and want to check it out tonight, lied Willie, washing himself rapidly. That sounds fun, but won't it be too exhausting for you after working hard all day? I don't know, but we'll just go and take a look and see if we'll join or not. All right, but I hope you don't join, laughed Irene sweetly. Why? Because I'll miss you, giggled Irene. I promised Esco that I would go with him, and I can't break my word. Willie guiltily continued fabricating. I understand. Have fun. Willie nervously wolfed down his supper and started towards the door. What time will you be home? Asked Irene as Willie was pulling the door open. It's hard to say. Don't wait up for me, answered Willie, pulling the door shut behind him. That was painless, thought Willie, breathing a sigh of relief. After 5 long days, finally the moment had arrived that they would meet. His heartbeat quickened as he stood in front of Sirka's door, despite a vague foreboding sweeping over him. Sirka appeared in the doorway wearing a gorgeous yellow dress, looking lovelier than ever. Willie was completely stunned. So you came, smiled Sirka delightfully. Please, come in, Willie. I kind of doubted that you were going to come, said Sirka, holding out her hand. Really? Why? I don't know. I guess I was just afraid. At this, Willie reached out, tightly grasping Sirka's hand. As he went down to hang his coat, Sirka stopped him. No, Willie, you are my guest. Please, allow me. Very well, Sirka. It's your home, said Willie with a broad smile. You are so good to me, Sirka. You don't need to redeem yourself ever. Let's just forget the past, please, and never mention it again, okay? Oh yes, Willie, said Sirka, taking Willie by the hand and leading him to the living room sofa, sitting down next to him. Life is strange after all, isn't it? Here we are, together again, even though we wandered separately for a while. Yes, what an odd coincidence that we met, just when I had already to believed that it was a lost cause. Even your aunt's letter said she had not heard from you. Why did she write that? Asked Sirka. Because I told her not to tell. Well, why, Willie? Because I loved you too much. and couldn't possibly bear any more disappointment. Why do you say that? Asked Sirka again, clutching his hand tightly. I wasn't sure if you were being honest with me. Neither of us need more pain, explained Willie, but thank God I found you again. I love you, Willie. Only now have I come to fully realize it. I struggled against it, but you were always in my thoughts, day and night. And I swore to myself that I would search for you until I found you again. Willie was struck dumb by the love cascading out of Sirka. He wrapped his arms around her lovely shoulders, and gently nudged against her, pressing a kiss to her lips, while whispering quietly, I love you now more than ever before. Sirka drew closer to Willie, suddenly realizing that without love, life cannot go forward. Willie, my love, I will never let you go again, I promise. You are my being and my joy, Sirka whispered in the heat of their embrace. Sirka, my darling, spoke Willie after a while. Can you sing that song for me one more time? It's so lovely, and I haven't heard it for an entire year. I'd love to, answered Sirka, getting up, her eyes twinkling like stars. She flew to the piano lightly as a butterfly and began singing, melodious as a nightingale. Willie was so happy he felt frozen as he watched. Sirka, dear, you are amazing. I can't believe that you are the same one with whom I walked the narrow path that dark night, remember? Said Willie. Remember? I remember it, Willie. How could I ever forget? Sitting on the riverbank with the moon above us, pondering the course of our lives. I remember, Willie. I remember. It's been in my mind like a vision of a dream. After a pause, Willie murmured, what now? Let's renew those memories that have been buried for a whole year. Let's go out and celebrate all night long. A perfect idea, my love. Sirka rapidly wrapped herself in a lovely shawl, briefly glancing at herself in the hall mirror, and said, I'm ready. You're like an angel, Willie admired. I am not worthy. Why? Sirka asked, looking at Willie's reflection in the mirror. I look like a bum, and the company you've been keeping must be very fancy. Don't be childish, laughed Sirka. You look splendid to me, and I don't care about anybody else. There's no need to worry. I'll take care of everything this time. Holding hands, they danced out into the evening. Willie's whistle brought a taxi to a halt, while Sirka gave the driver a mysterious address. Their destination proved the finest in the city, glorious and grand. As they entered, Sirka was quite at home, greeting and smiling at all of her acquaintances. In a great ballroom, an attendant took their coats, and the maitre d' directed them to a special table. Well then, here we are, now, smiled Sirka. Absolutely wonderful, answered Willie, gazing around. I spent many evenings here, especially when I felt lonely and sad, said Sirka. Well, everyone here seems to know you. Yes, perhaps they do in a way, answered Circa with a laugh, although I only know half of them by sight. Tonight, I want only your company, Circa explained with a smile. Moments later, champagne arrived. Circa raised her glass, saying, "Let's drink a toast to old memories. And to our fortune to meet again," continued Willie. "To us." Staring into each other's eyes, they wordlessly sipped their champagne. Life between them had been a question mark for far too long. Circa scribbled a few words on a cocktail napkin and handed it to the waiter, saying, "Take this to the conductor, please." A cryptic smile crossed Circa's lips briefly, stoking Willie's curiosity. The lights in the magnificent hall dimmed as the orchestra began to play. "May I have this dance?" said Circa with sparkling eyes, extending her hand across the table. They began gliding together, their arms wrapped around each other. "Willie, do you remember this tune?" teased Circa in Willie's ear. "Over the Waves, right?" "Yes, but what else?" Willie thought for a second and then said, "I've heard it so many times I can't remember." "It's the first waltz we ever danced together long ago," smiled Circa, pressing closer against Willie. "Of course." "Well, that's why I asked the orchestra to play it, because it suits us and this occasion so well. We have wandered separately over the waves, and now our paths have met again. Willie, our paths must never part again. We must stay the course together." As the midnight hour drifted closer, Circa suggested they walk home, as they had when they first met. Willie gladly agreed, dreading the idea of their separation for even a moment. Under the moonlit night, the city streets could not compare to the countryside they had strolled through years before. Before long, they arrived at Circa's apartment. They stood in silence as Willie whispered, placing a kiss on Circa's forehead. "Willie, when will I see you again?" "Tomorrow," replied Willie, pulling her close to him. Circa shook her head. "No. Tomorrow I have a performance, and Sunday also." In a dejected voice, Willie asked, "How about Monday night? Are you free then?" "I am, but it seems an eternity to wait." "I feel like that too." "Yes, Willie. However," said Circa, pausing to look up at the sky. "But what?" Circa asked Willie, after waiting anxiously for her to continue. "After we are married. So..." "What? Circa, you would take me as your husband?" Willie rejoicingly spluttered in his exuberance. She nodded, looking at Willie with eyes bursting with love. "I am the happiest man in the world," rejoiced Willie, with nothing else in his mind. "Soon? Next week? Tomorrow?" "Not so quite so soon, Willie," smiled Circa, her white teeth sparkling. "Next fall." "Next fall?" "Yes, because the tour is already scheduled. And unfortunately, I can't change my contract, explained Sirka, in disappointment. I leave in 3 weeks and come back in 2 months. So then we can begin life together, right? Yes, really. We can survive 2 months apart because we have already waited 2 years, exclaimed Sirka, throwing her arms around Willie's neck, kissing him in deep passion. Half mad with desire, Willie scrambled on through the night on his way home. He pictured Irene sitting at home waiting. What on earth is he going to do now? He cherished Sirka as his only and first love. It was completely pointless to deny this. Now their love had exploded like a blazing wildfire, scorching all in its path. Why had he waited longer? Willie screamed to himself. Why make Irene, an innocent person, suffer for his transgressions? Willie felt heavy as a stone, and his heart felt black. Upon arriving home, Irene was sleeping, or perhaps feigning. Willie undressed himself in peace as Irene slept. He turned off the light when a sleepy voice said, "You were gone a long time. I waited for you until 1 o'clock. I told you not to wait," Willie pointed out. "I know, but I couldn't help waiting," asked Irene quietly. "What time is it? I think I must have dozed off." "It's almost 3:30. Oh, good gosh, you better be quiet so you can at least get a little sleep. Good night, Willie." "Good night," answered Willie, feeling somewhat relieved that Irene didn't ask additional questions. Willie tried to sleep, but the attempt was futile. His brain was thrashing like competing steamrollers, crushing the rubble of thoughts in his head. The clock already chimed 5 when he had finally dozed off. Tumultuous applause.